See, we are live. Goodness sakes. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Now,
everybody.
we go live early so we can do stuff that's complicated.
Hmm.
So, right now, we're going to do something complicated. And it starts with waiting for YouTube to pick up the live, which takes about a minute. Once they do, then I can turn the volume off on that. Oh, you know what else I need to do? I need to, there it is. Okay, I got that. Now I need to, where is it? Ah, right there. Ha ha ha. Uh oh. Oh dear. I had this problem before where I couldn't see the bottom. Oh,
It'll just be a second. He's got something really good for you guys.
oh dear. Share tab audio.
Hey,
Honestly.
hey, OC Uber Gardener. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Well, this afternoon. It feels like night as early as I got up.
Uh oh, wrong thing. I'm never able to get this stuff set up ahead of time.
That's no problem, Father Fish. Victor C, hi.
Oh, darn it.
Gary Stain, hi. Hope everybody's having a great evening. Finally got my lighting fixed. I can second that.
Why don't me? Yeah, can you? I can't do it. It's not. It's
I
not
can
giving me. It's
I can
not giving me
try.
the full screen, so I can't click on it.
I can try. I'm not gonna promise it's gonna work, but I can try.
It's available in my channel.
Let's see. I'm gonna look around and see if I can do this.
Now I can't get rid of anything. Oh, honestly, StreamYard Studio. Oh,
Let's see
I've
what we
got
got.
this thing up and I can't get rid of it now.
I hate when that happens.
So I'm gonna have to drop off and come back. Pain in the.
Well, Ball the Fish will be right back, you guys. I'm looking at my end to see if I can bring up the surprise, but it doesn't look like I can since I'm not the one that created the StreamYard. So, how is everybody? Let's see what we got in the comments. 2 Foot Chopsticks. Hey, how you doing? Corey Akins. Belly is full, sun is shining, life is good. That's about it.
How'd you do?
Victor, Victor C. So far, I have 4 tanks set up. We're not counting the ones that aren't set up. That's in the progress of being set up, like that monster behind me.
Do you
Hope,
have you
what?
got the song?
What, Fatherfish? I couldn't hear you.
You have the song.
I've got the song, but it won't let me play it.
Put it
I,
up. Can you put it up on setting on present?
I'm trying, but for some reason, it's not working.
Take one of the others off and see if that'll work.
Let's see. Let me take one of
This
these
is
off.
insane.
It is.
See if
And then,
you can do it now. You can take them both off if you need to.
yeah, I'm going to take them both off and see what I can do here. It might let me if I share screen. I don't know.
Yeah, do share screen, right?
Yeah. Oops. Let's see. Let me get pass this advertisement real quick. And hopefully this will work. Come on. Okay, I have no idea how to take the firewall down. It's asking about a firewall?
Final? Can't
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm not really even sure what that is. Maybe if I click
Fine.
this, maybe. We're trying something. It may or may not work. I am not sure.
Video file. I don't have it as a video file, I don't think. I'm pretty
Huh.
sure I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work on my end. It keeps having different pops-ups that I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to Google how to get around a firewall.
I had this figured out last night, and now it brings the share screen up, but
Yeah.
it doesn't give me the
Mm.
tab at the bottom to load it. I mean, I can bring the song up, I can click on it, um, but I can't get to the tab, and reducing the screen doesn't help. It doesn't reduce. It's a
Mm.
complete bust. And that means I can't get out of it.
Oh,
You know,
no. You
we
might have to restart the computer, I don't
well,
know.
no, the only way I can get out of it is to drop off. Let's see if this reduces. No, it doesn't reduce what I need it to. Honest to God.
I feel you on that. I should be able to hit share screen, but then 10,000 things pop up.
I don't know. I don't get it. Edit bookmark.
Okay, let's
Bookmark
see.
bar folder time remove.
What is it?
Huh.
Hold on, this might work. Will it? We'll know in a second if it works. Nope.
I gotta go away again.
Okie dokie. Well, Psycho Dog's missing Father Fish. You can hear him in the background. Hopefully when he gets back, he can get up the surprise. Spring fever. Greetings. Ray. Hi, y'all. Straight out of Cornwall. Hi. So how is everybody tonight? You guys doing good?
Ah, tell you what, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. We're gonna have to go to Streamlab. It's the only way we've got to figure it out because we can do that kind of stuff on Streamlab.
Okay.
Well, here it's just it's for whatever reason it doesn't configure properly.
I've never used Streamlab before, so it might be it might take me a minute to get in.
Well, you'll probably figure it out before I do.
Hey, let's
Anyway,
hope
I can play the song, but I don't think. Can you hear that?
Mm-mm. I can't hear it. Can you guys hear it? Nope.
Really? I've got my back.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't hear any audio.
all right. All right. All right. I need to take a quick break. I'll be back in a moment. Hold the fork down.
Will do. And yes, Gary, you definitely hear one really large puppy. I'm thinking my husband must have gotten home. And happy birthday, you guys. I'm not sure who's having the birthday. Somehow I missed that with all the technical difficulties, but I hope you have a great birthday. Peace, love, puppies. Hi. And
It's a
yes, no,
little,
he does want to jump in my chair again.
the birthday is a little 3-year-old boy.
Oh, happy birthday. That is awesome.
Peace, love, puppies is here.
Dean Stevenson has an idea. He's wondering if you could do StreamYard through your phone and kind of do like a show and tell, send it to yourself and then play it through your phone maybe. I'm not exactly sure how that works though,
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Yeah, there are ways to do like a 2-camera system
mhm.
doing that. Um, I think where I'm at is Streamlab is it's just too limited for the kind of stuff I want to do. I think we're gonna have or StreamYard rather. We're gonna have to get into Streamlab. I started doing it about a year ago um, when I had help from somebody who knew how to do it, and I dropped it because it was just simpler to do this. But I'm getting tangled up with this system try to get it to do stuff that it doesn't do well. Dina and the Invisible Man show, right? It's true. Well, here I am,
You're
invisible
visible
no
again.
more. Right. Sonny G. LLBL. Who is LLBL?
Oh, it's the I haven't
Oh, let love
I,
be love.
there we
Let
go.
love be love. Evan Sieberhagen from South Africa. It's an Afrikaner. 2-foot chopsticks. Happy birthday. The birthday was, there's Evan saying happy birthday. It was, I saw it back here, way back, way all the way back before we went live. Lord, there are 100 comments already.
Yeah, there's
Amazing.
a lot.
Yeah. Yadzi Creatives, we need to get a few wrenches out at moderator. And then Stella, hello, Stella. Add moderator. Get you your wrench. Victor, Gary, Corey, Gary, Robert Mulder, Robert Cox retracted his message, but we're going to give him a wrench anyway. And maybe he'll think of something brilliant to say.
Hey, that's it.
Right. And moderator say, Yancy Creators, we just did that. Jane, is it? Jane Marion, Little Glitchers. Yeah, Little Glitches is right. Whew. Victor, Rob, Stan, fantastic. Or San saying fantastic, I guess. Get Stan a wrench here. Fantastic dollar. Ready for tubbing season. Boy, yeah, I've got them going already. I've got about 10 tubs out. I started putting pond plants in them. Ordered a bunch of pond plants, and then they were just sort of sitting here, not selling many. So I put a bunch of them in tubs. I've got outdoors 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tubs right now. I'm gonna do another bunch. Once I get my boat pulled out of the warehouse, which is coming up soon as it gets a little bit warm, It's really not warm yet. It's still cold. A little warm. The boat's going to come out. We're going to set up more racks and more tubs in here. Bring the leaves back. I'll tell you what, Peace Love Puppies, Phillips does such a good job with leaves and with the culture. I'm not going to do it anymore because he does it so much better than I ever could. So I really recommend you get over there and support Phillips Fish Work. You got the
Uh,
link up.
yeah, I'm getting the link up now.
He was up last night and we had a really a wonderful time. ZX9R is bullying a pound, he is. Let's see. Fanatics. Thin addicts. Keep putting mulberry leaves in my tank. The fish ate them all. Trying to be lethally. You need to do a variety of species of leaves. And the reason is that they contain different elements, different minerals, that they have different food value, different nutrients. They're all good, but you need a variety of them to be able to provide all of the nutrients. Some break down very slowly. Some, like the mulberry, break down very quickly. And you need all of those. Oak, for example, are very slow. Dry pine needles you can use. They have to be dry. If they're not, you could have a problem. And I use pine needles that I've taken out of water, where they've been pretty well rinsed out of any kind of sap they might have left in them. What else is going on here? Cornwall, Dean Stevenson bought some 27-gallon tubs and 40-gallon. Got two angels, six blue acara, and five plecos. So the 40's already in my spare room. All right. Spring fever.
And Straight Outta Cornwall has a really good question, Father Fish. Why do we have to climatize shrimp slowly, yet they are happy to climb out of the tank and go on a 3-day excursion around the house? Because he makes a good point there.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I do not acclimate anything. Um, whatever, if I got a new fish in, it goes immediately into a tank. Now, I have new tanks, so I don't have mixed old populations. I
Mhm.
have new populations. Um, and the fish I'm getting in, I know where they're coming from, and I know they're not diseased. They're coming either off farms that I trust or out of people's tanks. Um, but the thing about a climate acclimating is to acclimate properly, it takes a minimum of 3 days
Really? Wow.
with drip acclimation. If you're gonna acclimate to your water
Mhm.
from foreign water, and there is a difference, there always is. You need to drip a drop every 2 or 3 seconds for 3 days, which means you're dipping water out routinely as it fills. It takes that long to do the complete conversion from the water they were in to the new water.
That's
I
impressive.
found, yeah, what I found is that it's meaningless to do it
Mhm.
because unless you're taking water that are in alkaline conditions and putting them in acid conditions, which will kill them, there's no need to do it. The fish in the wild go through not only thermoclines where the temperature is different at different depths or in different areas, but the pH is too. The pH is not always consistent, it can vary. Anything between 7 and 8 is not even an issue. And the high sixes, 6, 7, 6, 8, 6, 9, are not an issue. It's when you get down around 6, 5 and lower that it becomes a problem when you're putting them in 8O or 7, 5 water. So what that means is the only test I ever do on a routine basis is pH. And I do that only to learn what the new water is. I don't care what the old water is. The water that's in the tanks, it is what it is. I'm certainly not going to change it, so it's going to be what it is. The fish are happy in it. I'm happy with that. If they're happy, I'm happy. And if they're living in 6O water and they're happy, that's fine with me. Now, I happen to know they're not. I happen to know that water is about 7.5. It can drop to 7.2. It'll come back to 7.8, 8.0, sometimes 8.2, depending on the buffers. I have a lot of buffers in my tanks. So when water comes in, I check it to see mainly if it's acidic. Because if it's acidic, then I really do need to acclimate. What I do is I do 15-minute. If it's in a 5-gallon bucket, I'll do a quart. I'll take a quart out. And so a quart is like 1/20th, 5%. I'll take 5% out, put 5% new water in. I'll do that every 15 minutes. So it takes hours to do that.
Yeah,
But if
that's
you
an
don't,
intense process.
well, it does. But unfortunately, it's extremely rare to ever have to do that. It would be very unusual for you to get fish that we're living in 6.0 to 6.5 water. They're just not. They're living in 7.2 to 8.0 water, in which case you really don't need to worry about it at all.
I just remembered looking at my notes. Ari first had a question from yesterday that I didn't get time to tell you guys about. He wants to know, what do you think of trimming dwarf sage?
It's really an aesthetic issue.
Mhm.
It really is, which makes it a matter of personal preference. I don't trim. I very rarely trim any plants because I like to see them grow out.
Mhm.
Now, I'll tell you what that means, and I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pull a plant out of a tank and explain it to you. I
Thank
got these. Oh, where do you see these? I got these yesterday. Let's do this one. This is one of half a dozen plants that
Oh,
I got
wow.
yesterday. That Hold on a minute and get it all together here. All right.
That is a beautiful plant.
Is that incredible or what? Look at
Love
that.
color.
Now,
I'm in love with that color.
I mean, look at it. It's amazing. It's
Wow.
got roots all the way down it, which means it was grown out. It was grown out. Now, I happen to know they grew it out in gravel. This is not grown in sand, but he had it down like this. He had
Mhm.
it flat on the ground, and that's how it grew.
Wow.
Isn't that gorgeous? I mean,
That
just
is.
amazing stuff. Yesterday I came in and there were two buckets, one with these plants, and I've got a lot more of this, and one with fish. And as I
Yeah.
was pulling them out, I was thinking to myself, this guy knows how to take care of fish. Oh,
Yeah, that plant is beautiful and so healthy. You would have never thought it was grown in a gravel tank.
oh, I know. So, oh, my lights are off. Let me turn them back
Uh,
on here. Uh,
that's true, Erie First. That's true.
every everything's gone off here. There we go.
Oh, that's better.
Oh,
You're invisible again.
I know. I need to figure out a better way to do this.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, there's the lights were out
That,
in the tank, so I got them back on now. You can see some of that red over here
mm-hmm.
on over here, right
Yeah.
there. That's the same plant right there. And I think there's some up here as well. Anyway, I got to tell you this story. Um, my niece Brenda has been working with me in the store for since last spring. It's been just about a year. It's been a year because we started in March, I think, of last year. And we've seen it grow and pick up and develop. And it reached the point where we needed to bring somebody else in. And she had a friend who was having trouble at her job, a friend who she's known basically her entire adult life. So we brought her in. Bobby is her name. And Bobby's been a wonder. The two of them are just they're back there, they're best friends, they're working together, they're happy as larks, and they're doing a really, really good job. Meanwhile, Bobby's talking about this nephew of hers, who's a man in his 30s, I guess. She's in her 50s. Man in his 30s who is well, he's not retarded, he's kind of slow. But he loves tropical fish. And he has two fish tanks. And his landlord said, you can't have two fish tanks. You can only have one. So he had to break one down, and it about broke his heart doing it. And that's what these plants and fish are that came in. So I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, I called up Brenda and said, "Tell me about this guy." Well, he works at a local chicken factory on an assembly line. It is the worst job you could possibly have. I mean, it is dreadful work. You're messing with dead chickens all day long, doing the same thing 1,000 times or more a day, over and over and over. So I said, boy, I sure would like to have somebody in here who cared about the fish, could take care of them, who I could teach to be able to do more, to be able to breed stuff and really develop a very, very nice fish room. So that's where we're at. I'm hoping to meet this guy and talk to him and see if this might work out. We
Oh,
have Peaceful and Puppies 1999. What she's saying are all plants collected from a river safe to put in a fish tank semi-collected or floating plants. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If they're in a river and there are fish in the river, then it's safe. And thank you for your super chat. We have another one here. Salient Aquatics, 4.99. Hey, Salient Aquatics, guys, you need to check out this fella's channel. He's got about 14, 15,000 subs, so he's coming on strong. Great channel. A lot of dirted tanks, a lot of mixed tanks. He does a variety of things. I watched a video of his yesterday that talked about low maintenance tanks, and he made a remarkable claim, which I believe absolutely. He said any tank, no matter how it's set up, can be a low maintenance tank. It depends on how you handle it and what you're doing with it. And I thought that was really remarkable advice.
Yeah, it is. I added a link to his YouTube down below in the
Yeah,
chat.
do check him out. Spring fever.
Yeah, he kept posting. I'm not sure what language it is. I think it might be Russian, but he was wanting everybody to go listen to this song. And Straight Outta Coral was saying that he was here to spam the chat, so I put him in timeout for 5 minutes.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I have no
Um,
idea what he was saying. I don't speak that language.
I'm going to take his wrench away. And I'm going to hide him on the channel.
That'll work.
So he's gone. Need some good dwarf hair grass. I think so. We're getting. I know we have hair grass, and I believe it is the dwarf. Sometimes it's hard to get both the tall and the dwarf. But I was talking with Brenda Friday about it, and she said we do have dwarf hair grass. So yeah, it's available. That'll be one of the plants that we probably will put in the specialty pack. So it's going to have like, excuse me, it's going to have carpeting plants. It'll have anubias. It'll have floating plants, and it'll have mosses and ferns. So it'll be a combination of all of the real oddball stuff. We may even throw abuse in occasionally, although we
That'd
may. We may not, mind you, but don't be surprised, or do be surprised. Be pleasantly surprised if you find a real stunner. That's going to be an interesting package. The guarantee is you get 15 different species for this, for the stem plants, the rooted plants, and the specialty plants. The specialty includes roots like carpeting and floating. They're rooted, but we're not including them in the rooted pack. The rooted pack is going to be larger plants. It's going to be cryptocorenes, Vallisneria, and swords. Primarily those three groups. We ought to get this up.
Oh, yeah.
Let me do it.
I
Right.
forgot I can't do it on my end.
Okay. You can't do it anyway. Right.
Yeah.
So, that's the wrong one.
Um,
That's the $39 one. And that's the stem plant.
need the
See if you
root.
can get the rooted one up.
Here we go.
Um,
Should be up now.
there it is. It's rooted plant. That we need to fix this. These are still in the works. But in any case, the rooted plant is mostly it's for larger tanks. Tanks like 29 gallons and bigger. That by and large, they're not good plants to put in 10-gallon or 15 or even 20-gallon tanks. You could do them in a 20, but you're frankly better off with stem plants in a 20. So 29 would be the smallest tank. I would do these larger rooted plants, things like Vallisneria that can grow feet long. Occasionally, we get the giant sage. I don't have a lot of that, and it's something I used to sell it by the bucket full, but I no longer can get it. Nobody raises it. There was one man who was raising it, and he had ponds of it. I've got a video of one with fronds 5 feet long, actually longer, because I'm holding it up above my head, and the leaf is touching the ground, so 7 feet long. Um, I have a few of those that are 2 or 3 feet. I'm not selling them right now because I'm trying to get them grown out. They are a Sagittarius. They're not a Vallisneria. And curiously, they're from Georgia. They're native to Georgia. So, and you guys living in the South, they ought to be in Florida too, for that matter. Or, and maybe in your area, Dina. I
Hey, I'll
never
be on the
saw.
lookout.
Yeah, I never saw the Val or Sads further south, but it should be up there. So it's Vallisneria. Some of the Sads, there are wonderful Sagittarius and cryptocorenes. The crypts, you get 4 or 5 crypts, 4 or 5 swords, and 4 or 5 Val and Sag. So it's 15 plants for $59. That price is subject to going up. If you are interested in these plants, get them now, because I have the distinct impression that in a week or two, they're going to go up to $79 for the package. I won't do that with the stem plants. I will keep the stem plants at 59, but I think I'm badly overpriced, or underpriced rather, on the rooted plants, and probably also on the specialty plants, because a bunch of them are ferns and mosses that are expensive plants. They're plants that retail $15 and $20 a piece, and I'm just not sure, even at wholesale, that I'm going to be able to hold that price. So that price is subject to going up. This is an introductory price. Take advantage of it while you can. It ain't going to be here forever. All right, what's going on?
Well, actually, you've got a question from Bob S. at timestamp 621. FF, explain the difference between Val and Sag. I feel Val is hardier.
No, I would not say it's hardier. Frankly, I think they're both hardy. Um, oh, without going into the genetic difference, which I'm not sure I can do, they're in the same family of plants. They grow differently, they look different. The sage tends to be a broader, thicker leaf, and its crown. Let me get this. Let me get this off of here. Its crown is round.
Mhm.
The crown of a Vallisneria is flat, like a fan. The leaves come out like this. In a sage, they come out like this, the same as a sword. Swords grow from a round crown. The Vallisneria grows from a fan. This this kind of a configuration with the leaf. Now they're all tight together. They're like that, but they're growing out. Well, can I do it? I don't know if I can do it. Sort of like that, with it growing out. Whereas the sage is growing as a as it's actually round. The other one is actually flat. You can tell the difference by just looking. It's very obvious once you figure that out. Val's getting on a bit, starting to sag. That just, yeah, Val is sagging. Sort of, sort of. You go here. That's very cute, by the way. It's very clever and very cute. I'll give you that one. That's a good one. Not all Oscars are created equal. Some may have a demon spawn. You know what that is? I'm going to tell you what that is. What is this, by the way? Oh, that we just did that. Okay, I need to get down to the bottom over here. Whoops, what's this? Any trick to turn a 125 Oscar into a dirted. All right, we're going to do this. That's the second Oscar, the second Oscar question. I think the other one triggered off of salience.
Mhm.
Here's the deal with large Central American cichlids in dirted tanks. Don't do it. There, I'm off the hook. Now, to do it successfully and effectively, it is vital to start with small fish. Don't start with big fish. The primary reason is big fish have been living in an environment that is virtually, utterly synthetic. They've been living in essentially a bare tank, maybe with hardscape in it, either alone or with two or three other fish, rarely just two, unless it's a mated pair and they will tolerate each other. But generally, here it is, crazy for color. My crazy Demisoni cichlid is a gardener, spends all day gardening, clipping and decorating with gravel he dug out. That's right. Except it's not that they're gardeners, it's that they are insane. They become crazed by living in an environment that is so sterile that they absolutely will not tolerate anything new or different coming into that tank, and they'll tear at it. They'll they will terrorize it, whether it's a fish or a plant or whatever. They'll go after it and tear it and tear it and tear it. Starting with little fish in a planted tank, you just don't get that kind of conditioning. I have had many Central American cichlids that I've grown out in heavily planted tanks, and they have done well. In point of fact, many of these fish live in ponds and lakes in um, in Central America, like Mexico. They live north of the border, north of the just south of the U.S., just south of the Gulf, if you will.
Mhm.
Many of them grow out. They're born and raised in ponds and lakes that are full of plants. So it's a perfectly normal setting for them. if you give that to them when they're little, they will not only tolerate it, they will live within it. They won't try to tear it up, won't try to chew it up. Um, they'll do just fine. And I know this because I've done it countless times. I've raised I've raised Central American cichlids, which can be some of the roughest fish there are. They will tear up a Malawi cichlid. They'll tear up a tank of Malawi cichlids. But I have kept Malawis and Central Americans together in the same tank, planted, and they did beautifully with a deep substrate. Now, the substrate, first of all, the tank was 100 gallons or better. Never had them in less than 100 gallons. The substrate was a minimum of 6 inches deep. Some had dirt, some didn't. I had a 500 gallon tank with a foot of sand substrate. Never did put dirt in it. It was up for 8 to 10 years, and when it was broken down, the bottom was full of dirt. Had sand in it, of course. I mean, sand didn't go away, but it was sand and dirt. It had built a soil foundation over the years. Didn't get dug up. Never did get dug up. Now, here's another thing about fish. Big fish, you got to understand. Not every big fish is a digger. Arowanas are not diggers. They just are not. Most catfish are not diggers. Curious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Red-tailed cats, shovel-nosed cats, they're not diggers. Very few catfish are. The what's it called? The river cat is a digger. They actually dig. I don't know whether they dig it or something else digs it. I think they dig it. They actually dig out a cave that they
Oh,
live in. Plecostomus, the big plecostomus, they're a cave digger. They will dig out that uh, uh, they the canals in Florida are 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 honeycombed with the caves of Plecostomus nesting in them. In the spring and early summer, people go in boats right down the canal and will reach into these 2 feet deep, reach into these honey holes and grab a gelatinous mass of eggs, pushing past the plecostomus, who may be 2 to 3 feet long, pushing past him and snagging this ball of eggs. Looks like a grapefruit, about the
wow.
size of a grapefruit. Thousands of eggs in it. They sell them to the farmers. They used to get $5 a piece. It's up to about 20 now. The farmer takes those eggs, he puts them in ponds. The whole egg, tosses them into the pond. They hatch out within 30 days. He is harvesting and selling these little tiny plecostomus. That's the little black common plecostomus you buy in the store. You don't ever want to buy them. Never, never, never. They turn into
Oh,
monsters.
did not know they turned into monsters.
Well, they do. The longer you keep them, the bigger they get. I used to get them all the time, a foot to 18 inches. That was kind of the point where people couldn't tolerate it anymore. They'd bring them in. And I would sell them to people with ponds because they work beautifully in a pond. All right. The comedy hour. Yeah, they do that, don't they?
Yeah, they're coming after me hard tonight, trying to get me to laugh.
Right. A dictator voiceover. Oxon! One, yeah. Das ist ein Pointer. Dein Fressen Deutscher.
Father Fish won this round, you guys. Y'all didn't win. Oh, Lord.
Psycho hitting the bottle hard tonight.
I usually never let myself have sugar but once a week. So, yeah, I'm enjoying some sweet tea.
Funny. Achtung.
That's just hilarious.
That's right.
Looking through the comments for a sec.
Cornwall's having trouble. Poor Cornwall.
What
You got it.
happened?
He's got it coming. I have no pity on him. You know, he and Erie, I have no pity on either. Not a, not a nickel's worth. Father Fish just morphed into Hitler. Ah,
Oh, Lord.
German. Jachtung. Jachmann, yeah. Achsensteinsee. Ah.
You know they're going to make a short out of this, Father Fish. This would be for the next April Fool's Day.
Oh, let me get this. Somebody's asking about my visor. Oh, let me go get it. If I can find it, where'd it go? Ah, das ist gone. Where is?
You guys started this.
Mein Watzenstung ist gone. Where is it? I gewalt. Thieves, thieves.
Hey, Crazy for Color said, I needed to laugh today, thanks.
Das thieves is stolen. Das is stolen. Das a very stuff.
Yeah, don't ask me. I only know English and a little bit of Latin.
That's weird. I have no idea. Anyway, it's a visor. Where did I have it? I had it somewhere.
You'll find it.
Yeah, it'll turn up. I was looking at Betta's, I think. Oh, well. I don't know where it is. It's a visor. And they're kind of hard to come by. I've tried to get the one I have. It's about 20 years old. I got it at a flea market. The guy had a bunch of them, and I bought them all. It's the last one. They've got them on Amazon, but they're really no good. They're fancy and they don't work. Um, I probably could get a really good one for $100 or so if I even knew where to look for it. Das ein offensichtlich Overfeldfabel. Hey, Yahoo!
I don't know why, but you talking German is like the funniest thing ever.
How worried should I be? Ohio Eric needs a wrench. More than he needs air to breathe. Let's get him a wrench and then see what he's got to say for himself. How worried should I be to put resurrection jar into my tank? How worried? Well, let's see. Ohio, what is your measurement? Um, what is how do you rate your levels of worry? Is worry whether the next step you take is going to cause you to trip and fall down and break your neck? Is it that level of worry? Is it utter paranoia, where you're afraid essentially to breathe, much less eat? Is it so passive as to be of little or no consequence Oh, yeah, I care about that. What was it we were talking about? Right. Is at that level? I don't know what the level of worry is that you're concerned with here. But if I were to personalize this, and I suppose that's the only really fair way to deal with it. If I had a resurrection jar of material I had collected and threw into a jar, or even better yet, brought back in a bucket, had not had a chance to look at it, and I walked past the tank that looked like it could use some more food web, I would dump it in without a second thought. I would dump it in, particularly if it has fish in it. And the more fish, the better. And here's the point: anything that's going to be a problem, if you've got an active fish population in there, they're going to eat it up because it ain't a problem for them. It's food. Things like tapeworms, things like ick parasites, things like um, bloodsuckers, things like dragonfly larvae. Those are all food. They all get eaten up. Now, as to dangerous bacteria, this is the critical one to understand. All bacteria, all bacteria, all of the thousands of species of bacteria that exist, all of them are dangerous. Every single one of them. If you isolate any single bacteria and put it in a sterile environment, it will explode in growth. It will consume every available nutrient available to it. It will begin eating plants, fish, everything that's in there. However, if you have 100 bacteria, they will be squabbling with each other over the tastiest morsels. Now, you may wind up with a bit of a problem here or there. It's nothing like it would be if there were one bacteria in a sterile tank. Now, multiply that times 100. 1,000 species of bacteria. And that's pretty much the average for any environment, any natural environment. It's going to have a minimum of 1,000 species of just bacteria, much less everything else. They are all living in essentially in harmony with each other. 50% of them feed on each other. 50% of them are parasites. The other 50% are feeding on tinier things. In fact, they may be parasitizing on tinier living things. They achieve a balance, a harmony in which no single population becomes dominant, number one. And number two, no single population is exterminated. And that's every bit as important. That's why you never see ick in nature, because it is kept at a level where it cannot infect in en masse. there will be one parasite that will attach one time to one fish, feed, mature, drop to the bottom, and lay eggs. Those babies, 240 is the number I use. All 240 of them hatch. Important fact, they don't, because some of the eggs get eaten. But let's give them the benefit. They all hatch. They all emerge from the substrate. Some don't get out of it because there are so many critters down in there looking for just hungry mouths, looking for a meal. Gone. They come up, they begin coming up out of the water. They get eaten up, eaten up, eaten up. One, maybe two will escape that predation and latch onto a fish. Once they do, they're safe because they burrow in. They don't hang on the surface. They make a tunnel right into the fish. They go under that scale and into the fish. The white spot you see, that's the waste they're producing. They they fill up on fluids. They suck fluids like a vampire. They're sucking fluids out of the fish. They fill their bellies, they become mature, they back out of that tunnel and drop to the bottom. On the way down, they may very well become a meal. If they escape that and hit bottom, it happens over again. It is unheard of to see a population of fish in the wild infected with the ick parasite. It is commonplace for it to happen in an aquarium. Why? Very simply, because the environment is not a balanced environment. It is a virtually sterile environment in which that parasite can explode and not expect there to be any hungry mouths to eat it up. And so you'll see one spot, or maybe you won't see it. It'll drop off, it'll lay its eggs, and then you'll see a spot on a fish. It may be two on another one, but there none on the third one, the fourth. Boy, there are four spots on him. I better do something about this. I'm going to the store tomorrow to buy some medication to deal with this. And you come back and it's late in the day. Well, gee whiz, I can't do it today. It's too late. I need to study this and figure out what to do. Now we're not on day 3. Nothing like it. You missed the first one. The second one you caught. The second, you missed the first one that came in. The first hatching is what you saw. That came 3 days later. The first hatching. By the time you get around to treating it, day 4 or day 5, that second hatching is dropping off, going down into the soil, going down into the substrate and laying eggs. By day 5 and 6, all those new ones are hatching. Now you have an army of
Yeah.
thousands of parasites that will infect virtually every fish in the tank. Some seem to be able to maintain an immunity, but there will be many that'll be completely covered by the time you get around to dealing with it. And by that point, it's too late because that fish will be literally sucked dry and will die. By day 7, they're dead fish in the tank. It can start as early as day 6. It doesn't take long. Now, if you catch it, you can kick the temperature up and that will stop the ick. It's a cold water parasite. There are some researchers who claim that there's a warm water ick. I haven't seen it. I haven't found anything that cannot be treated with warm water. 86 degrees minimum. 90 degrees is not too hot. And 90 degrees will not kill fish, at least not tropical and subtropical. It'll kill temperate zone fish. It'll kill fish that normally live in 40 and 50-degree water, 60-degree water. It'll kill them dead. But it won't kill the fish you buy at Walmart or PetSmart. It won't kill the tropical fish. 90 degrees. How long? 2, 3 days tops. That parasite drops off, goes into the ground. By slowly bringing that temperature down, you get to day 4. Day 4 without a host, and that parasite dies. Temperature doesn't kill it, it just makes it inert. It won't be active. If it's inactive, not able to feed for 4 days, it dies. So
Good.
that's how you get rid of it. And it's really quite simple. But the real way to get rid of it is to prevent it from happening. I had an ick blowout in a tank, one of my new tanks, the one right here, because I set it up. I did not put a food web in it. I think I put a few leaves in, really not enough. Put about 25 neon tetras in it. My eyes are not all that great. I missed it. I finally saw it at about day 4 or 5. Kicked the temperature up, got it up within hours. Lost 2/3 of the tetras. They never made it. I now have a whole lot of other fish in there, and they're doing fine. The ick's gone. And I've got a much stronger food web. Still not adequate, but it's better. So that's kind of a long answer to that question, but the issue is there is nothing in nature for you to be afraid of. There is everything outside of natural environments for you to be very afraid of. Be afraid of not having the material for that resurrection jar in your tank because that's where disease comes from. It doesn't come from putting everything that's living outside into your tank. That prevents it from happening. It's really quite that simple, folks. Get a hold of that and you will be home free. How many people are going to tell you that?
Right? But it's the
Ah,
truth.
more and more, more and
Yeah.
more and more. Ah,
I agree with Stan Pittman. We're just going to vote for you for president, Father Fish.
yeah, I ain't running. I I will accept an honest draft. Who was it who said that?
It was,
Eisenhower. Eisenhower said that. They asked Eisenhower to run. He said, I'm going to run. I don't want. And they kept on him and kept him. He said, look, if you guys go to convention and I win a convention, I'll run. But I ain't going to go out and campaign for it. Nothing like that. I ain't gonna try to convince you guys to support me. You want me, vote for me. Put me up as your candidate. That was Eisenhower.
that's funny.
Some suggest,
They're
let's say, Skagatash Kasavan. Some suggest plants also need to be limited. Well, too many plants affect water circulation. I converted my 20-gallon tank of gravel with 3/4 inch dirt and 2 inches sand. with 10 to 15 varieties of plants. Here's the rule. The rule is the more plants you have, the more fish you can have. How many is too many? Keep putting them in until you figure it out. Because you will figure it out. You'll reach the point where you will have so many fish in the tank, you will be scared to death they're going to all die at once. That's when you know you have too many. I mean, the fish can live in swarms. That's why we call ourselves the shoal. A shoal of fish is a school of fish. Now, granted, they're not living in a little glass box in that huge shoal, but they are living chock a block tight one against the other, swimming around in these schools. Not all fish do that. Those that do, the herrings, of course, do that. And there's some others like a lot of tetras are caught in the wild in schools. They will live in schools until they get big. You know how big a neon or a cardinal get? Bet you don't know. Bet you think
No,
it's an
mine's
inch,
like this.
maybe two. Yeah, 5 to 6 inches.
A neon tetra?
A neon tetra.
Wow, did not know that.
They are never caught. Never.
Wow.
Because at that size, they're in deep water on the bottom in the Amazon where there is zero visibility and where you don't pull nets through. It's deep water, it's full of rubble. You can't get a net through it. There were a group of them, a tank of them, that showed up in New York City at a show in the 1960s, 60 years ago. They were 6 inches long. Nobody, there were pictures of them taken. They're there. It was proven it actually happened. Nobody knew where they came from. Nobody knew where they went. But there they were. So the researchers claim that they grow to a point where they're no longer in a school, where they spread out and separate and go into deeper water. I don't know that that's really true. There's no authentication for it. There's only that one time those big neons showed up at a show in New York City 60 years ago.
That would have been
Make,
amazing to actually see them full size. That would have been
makes
amazing.
makes you dream, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Flipman, at timestamp 6:54 has a question for you, Father Fish. How many leaves from my res jar do I add after the 2 weeks? I'm starting from scratch with a 7-gallon tank.
He wants to add leaves
Mhm.
to his resurrection jar.
He wants to add leaves from his resurrection jar to his 7-gallon tank.
Oh, okay. Small amount. You want to do a small amount at a time, but you want to do it consistently. Once a week, once every 3 to 4 days. Twice a week is no more than twice a week. And the reason is when you do that, if you put a big clump of it in a small tank, it's gonna it's gonna throw the balance in the tank out of whack, and you're going to wind up with a whole lot more CO2 than the animals can tolerate, and they're going to die. The plants will be okay; they can absorb it, but you'll lose a lot of the light that way. So you want to go slow, do it in small amounts, so you can gradually build this thing up. It's It's like feeding a child or feeding anything, feeding a bunch of chickens, whatever. You're growing something from something small to something much larger. And you're doing that with your fish tank. You're growing up thousands of different things all at once in your fish tank. So you need to start slow. You need to be careful. Do it with a gentle touch, a little bit at a time, but be consistent. Keep going. If you see a little gray water, if you see things a little off, then back off and wait it out. If you crash, leave it alone and wait it out. It'll resolve itself. May take 2 or 3, maybe 4 days. Within a week, it'll be right back to normal. It'll be just fine. Increments, small increments, building and building and building. You want to get it to the point where much of that substrate is at least an inch deep with leaves and mulch and other rubble, organic rubble, little tiny twigs, leaves, all of that sort of stuff. You want to get it deep, and you want to get it not just in one spot, but at least in a broad area. Doesn't have to cover the whole tank, but you want to get it starting here all the way over to here so that the animals living in there have got room to move around. They're not going to be stuck in one little tiny place. And that's going to allow for a greater population to develop. It'll also allow for them to be protected from the predation of the fish in the tank. If you got one tiny little area, it's going to be torn up. It'll be eaten up. There won't be anything left alive in there. You need a larger area for them to be able to survive.
And we got another question from Adam Armbruster at 658. Father Fish, when did aquariums become big tech by the pet industry? Seems like the 1980s to me.
When did aquariums become big tech? In the I was talking with Merle Cohen at lunch about that years ago. That would have been in about in about 1995. I went to Baltimore, went down to Glen Burnie. He had just sold his business and was helping the new owners transition, and we had lunch together. Merle Merle had been in the industry from the 50s, the early 50s. He and his brother Dave, they built the largest wholesale operation of tropical fish and plants in the 60s and into the 70s. It was the biggest operation in the country at that time. Um, he then got rid of the fish end of it and had invented a number of products, among which was an ick cure. What's a quick cure, I think. Ac- uh, Malachite green and I want to say aquafavin, not aquafavin. Well, what's the mortuary chemical that's used to embody to
Formaldehyde?
embalm? Pardon?
Formaldehyde?
Yes, formalin. Right. Malachite green and formalin, two utterly deadly poisons he put together to kill ick. This before we even had decent heaters and didn't know anything about the life cycle of ick.
Wow.
It was the best there was at the time, but it's still on the shelf. You can still buy it today. Quick cure. Or ick out. Was it ick out? I don't remember. Anyway, we were talking about what had happened to the industry by 95. He said the biggest problem was the big box stores because they took the core business of the pet shop away from the pet shop. The core business being the dry goods, the pumps, the filters, the lights, the tanks, the chemicals, the food, all of that. That was the foundation. That was what kept the fish store going. They could sell fish, but they needed the dry goods in order to pay the bills. And it was a non deteriorating product that could put on the shelf that would be there until it was sold. That was taken away. At that point, 95% of the ma and pa shops went under. Tens of thousands, literally tens of thousands of small independent tropical fish stores. In Baltimore alone, there were 45. In the 1960s, there were 45 tropical fish stores in Baltimore City. Imagine that. Today, there are two. For a lot of years, there was only one.
Wow.
The big box stores and it took over that part of the industry. And when they did, they promoted that part of the industry to the point where it exploded, where all of a sudden they were buying product from manufacturers in very large quantities, creating a market that generated more manufacturers and more manufacturing. So there was a line of products that began to be developed in order to feed this mall, this great huge mall that had been created. That was the aegis of AEGIS, the aegis, the beginning, or the culmination of the transition from natural environments maintained by local people using local techniques, learned procedures, to this predominantly mechanized, commercialized system of product that dominated the market. When that happened, the fish, the availability of fish began to dwindle. And that continued well into the 90s. It wasn't until the beginning of this century, with the advent of the Fish Fam on YouTube, fish clubs, serious hobbyists who began demanding a wider range of species of fish, to the point where we're seeing today fish coming into the market that we never heard of before. It's at its peak right now, but they're hard to get and they're very pricey. We still are dominated by this this gargantuan monster that's trying to sell us every product imaginable and some that are unimaginable. That's why we keep hammering away at this. And that's why we keep promoting the natural system, because it will spell the doom of that industry. It will
Definitely.
drive it, it will drive it to the point where it will be required to cater to the needs of the natural system keeper. And there are products we need. We need dependable heaters.
Mhm.
They're finally beginning to become available. Finally, companies like Higer are manufacturing heaters that are not made out of glass that break when you tap them on the side of the tank.
Right.
How ignorant is that?
Mhm.
So finally, we've got heaters that work, they're effective, they're a better technology, they're reasonably priced. Same with lighting. We need lighting.
Absolutely.
Filtration, we need decent filters, not the kind you have to go out and keep buying stuff for. That's not it. It's quality sponge or other quality filters that will last a lifetime, that are effective, and on and on. I mean, there are really very few chemicals, hardly any. We need hardscape, we need substrate materials, we need plants, and we need fish. We need decent foods. Very few decent foods. I'm selling a food now that is shipped to me from Japan. It's the best quality food anywhere in the world today. I've tried them all. The next one is from Israel, and it's really excellent. It's called Prime. Very high quality food. I'm sticking right now with the Japanese because they have it in grades. You can get very fine to pellet size. There's a local food that's available now through Brine Shrimp Direct. It's Golden Pearls, which is a shrimp based food, very high quality food. It's graded as well. And they've been able to raise some fish on it that only eat live food, like the baby gobies, the clown gobies, will only eat live food. They've been able to get a certain percentage of that spawn that's taking the golden pearls. I think finally they're saving them out and breeding them, and we're going to wind up having a population of clownfish that'll be able to spawn in your tank and raise the babies. Exciting stuff. So we're on the edge of some real serious breakthroughs that are going to turn this hobby into something profoundly exciting and make everybody a professional breeder, which will advance the hobby enormously. We're going to wind up with amazingly new strains of fish that'll just be spectacular. And we'll wind up with learning how to care for types of fish that are extremely difficult. We're already doing that. We're doing it with the Borneo gouramis, with the Mandarin gouramis, and the licorice gouramis, the chocolate gouramis that are very difficult to keep, but they're now being bred in captivity. And you can buy them in 8.0 water and they'll spawn in that water. It's amazing what's happening. But it's all because of an understanding that that aquarium has to be based. It has to be a natural system. It cannot be a synthetic system. That just doesn't work.
Yeah, synthetic's only gonna kill your fish. I
Ultimately, that's right.
mean,
That's right.
that's it. It's going
Yeah,
to. I've
thank you
tried
for
it.
Anna. Thank you, Anna, for that question. We need to that's a good rant. We need to get that one. They did.
Oh, um, Flipman has a question. What about the HIKARI brand?
Hikari.
Mhm.
Hikari. Well, Hikari, I would classify Hikari as a mid-range diminishing. When it was first brought onto the market, it was one of the best foods available. There are now a number of foods better than that are on the market. So while it has not deteriorated, expect it to, because to keep its market share, it's going to have to reduce its price. And in doing so, its quality will be reduced. Now, the company may not claim that, but that's the nature of things. So expect that to happen. There are simply better qualities of food on the market today. My lights went out again. What
Uh-oh.
went out? Oh, this one next to me.
Yeah, so the ones in the back look like they're still on.
Well, yeah, I've got a tank alongside me. It's on its own timer, and it just clicked off.
Oh,
It's the
Charles.
light. It's the light that's shining on this side of my face. But I got the light ahead, so the light
Yeah.
above. All
Well, now I
right.
finally do too.
What are we doing here? 7:11, 7:15. Let's
um.
talk about. Let's talk. You know what we need to do? We don't have the dirt. We
Oh
need
yeah.
we need Adam. We need a clip on the supplement. They need that material is available on Discord. And we've got some pretty good material there. The supplement is a critical element in setting up that brand new dirty deep substrate tank because it puts in that substrate all of the minerals, the biologicals, all of the material that the trace elements, if you will, that get used up most quickly. One of the problems with the Wolstead system, and that she admitted this in her book, that after a year, the soil was depleted. So we have created a package of supplements based on much earlier work done by Amano, in which he recognized the need for supplements in that tank, and he made up little expensive little half-ounce packets. If you watch one of the earlier videos by the Green Machine, when he's setting up one of his master tanks, he's pouring right on the glass, opening these little tiny packages and pouring out the elements. These are Amano packets of calcium, blood meal, um, baking soda, what else? Epsom salts. We have those and about 8 more elements in that package that's available for $25 on our Shopify channel. The list posted below. By the way, in order to get to anything in the fatherfish world, go to fatherfish.fish. Fatherfish.fish. All of the links for everything are there. We have suppliers of this supplement in here in the US, in Canada, in the UK, in the EU, in Brazil, in Australia, and the new one coming online in India. And we're hoping that the guy we've been in contact with in Indonesia is gonna be able to get it set up. So we're providing the nutrient, the supplement, literally all over the world. We can't ship it country to country because it's soil and chemicals. But it's common material that's available everywhere. And we work with local people in other countries to help them put together that product and then market it as their business. We don't take a part in that. This is we lend our name to it and we support them in the process. It is their business that they're hopefully making a little bit of money on. And I know in the case of Great Britain and the UK and Canada, it's developing. It's coming along nicely, and they're actually beginning to make some money. So we're very excited to be able to do that. There's some other lines of products too. For example, Dina just took over all of the merch for the Father Fish channel. This is her business that she's running as her business by selling merch on the channel. Now that's going to be available. She can ship that out of the country. I don't know that have you looked at that yet? Probably
Yes,
not.
sir. I've looked at some of it there. It depends on which products are bought. Certain distributors will not ship outside the US, others ship globally. So, certain places you can get certain items anywhere in the world.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're on the way here. All right. That's our that's our little ad. We're
Oh,
going
and,
along.
Father Fish, Crazy
Yes.
for Color has a question. If possible, can you list some of the best foods right now available? I posted a link of the 2 types on the, website.
Well, I just mentioned two.
Mhm.
I don't know all of them.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot.
know. There are three. I mentioned three. Two of them are not available commercially. You can't find them in the store. That's the Israel Prime Food
Mhm.
and the Araheim from Japan. I'm not carrying the Prime currently, although I can. I've got a bag of it and I can put it on the market. I'm doing the Araheim because at this point it's the best food available as a processed food. Processed food is not the best food to feed your fish, but I understand because I use it myself. It's simpler and it's adequate and it gets you through and it's a lot less hassle than raising live food. Um, I'm hoping to get this young man in here to begin setting up some cultures of live food, so
That'll be awesome.
we can be doing a lot more of that. The other is one you can get, um, and it's a very high quality food, and that's excuse me. In fact, I'm having a problem with my finger.
Ooh,
It's
ouch.
I think I'm finally it's wanting to go into oh boy, one of those like that where
Oh, yeah.
I have to
Mhm.
squeeze it out.
Yeah.
Um, that is golden pearls. Golden pearls is available exclusively through Brine Shrimp Direct in Utah. You can just go on Brine Shrimp Direct. You can buy it in any size and any quantity. It's an extremely high quality food, but well researched. Maybe it's certainly one of the best foods that's on the market today, and is perfect for saltwater fish as well as freshwater fish.
And, Carlos at timestamp 721 asked, "Father Fish, how do you move a father fish style tank? I'm planning to remove the water and leave the substrate in. Is this a bad idea?"
No, it's a good idea.
Mhm.
You got to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, that's how I moved mine is I drained the
That's
tank and then called my brother.
yeah. I have my 23-year-old tank, my master tank. I brought that up here with substrate in place from Florida. Fortunately, I put it in the back of my van and not in the back of the truck because the truck had absolutely horrid um, uh, what's it called cushion the,
Mhm.
the the springs whatever and I broke half a dozen tanks
Oh,
because
no.
they banged on the
Yeah.
they hit a we hit two potholes and they went like this up and down and smashed. I lost
That hurts.
six out of a dozen tanks. But that one I put in the back of my van and didn't have that problem. But it took two people to carry it. A big tank, like 100-gallon tank, even a 75-gallon tank, I would not risk it. You're talking about upwards of 300 pounds. Don't even try.
Yeah,
You could,
that's
it's easy enough to scoop off the sand, put that in one bucket, scoop out the dirt, put it in another bucket. When you get the tank in place, pour the dirt back in, pour the sand back in, add another inch of sand, new clean sand, right on top of it, and you'll be good to go. It'll be just fine.
I can't imagine moving a tank that big with the substrate in it. That ooh. That would be
Pull,
difficult.
Corey's saying pull. Pull, all right.
Uh,
I'm pulling.
Flipman's got another question for you. At
Sure.
timestamp 724, um, Fatherfish, do you have a video of moving the 23-year-old tank? I want to see what steps are needed. I have 4 tanks in case I need to move. Thanks.
I don't think I do. Um, drop the water down to about an inch. Yeah, I actually left some fish and plants in that. The Formosa survived. A few others didn't. I had it at that level for nearly 2 weeks. I dropped it down to an inch so I could get it out of the house and onto the carport. It sat on the carport for at least a week before it got packed out and put in the van, and we left to come north. In that amount of time, a lot of the plants did not survive, and some of the fish did not survive, but other plants and other fish did. 1 inch of water on top of the soil. If you don't have plants, I would recommend you not pull the plants out. Leave the plants in there. If the leaves die back, the plant's going to regrow. The root system is still good. The crown is still good. It'll be fine. It's normal for the leaves of plants to die. That's what they do. They all die. All leaves from all plants die. And the plant grows new leaves. It ain't no big thing. It's what it's all about. It's all those dead leaves that are feeding everything. So that's a good thing. Don't worry about the leaves being dead. Worry about the crown and the roots being dead, because if they die, you're done. The plant isn't going to survive.
And
Uh,
Flipman's got one more question, Fatherfish. How do you sift the sand from the substrate when you go to move it?
don't don't
Don't
sift it.
gotcha.
Just take a net, a wide net. Everyone should have a 9-inch net, minimum 9 inches. 12 inches is better. But if you got a 10-gallon tank, a 12-inch isn't going to fit in it end to end. A 9-inch will. 9 inches wide. Use that to catch fish. Don't use a little tiny net like this to catch fish. It ain't going to catch them. It's going to scare them to death. You'll be chasing them around.
I
Use
learned
a
that
big
the hard
net. Use a big net, and you will never chase a fish. You put it in the tank, in the back, you wait till the fish comes up front. You move the net up against the glass, tap on it a little bit. The fish darts to the back of the net. You lift it straight up and you got them. No stress, no mess. Doesn't tear any plants up, doesn't stress the fish. Easiest thing in the world. You can catch the tiniest fish or the largest fish that way. Big net, not a little net. Any little net needs to be thrown away. Now, I shouldn't say that. There are uses for little nets. I find while I like catching bettas in my hand, and I do it all the time, a small net works better to get a betta out of a bowl. You can't put a 9-inch net in a bowl that's got a 2-inch neck. You need a little net for that, or your hand, which works
Mm.
better, so long as you have figured out how to hold your hand so you're not squeezing the fish to death and it's not able to escape through the end of your hand or under a finger.
And Gamesar has a question for you, Father Fish. If I get a trio of least killies, would they eventually overpopulate a 10-gallon tank?
I don't believe that anything ever overpopulates. That would be impossible. It's impossible for that to happen because you cannot have a population greater than the ability of the environment to support it. I mean, how could that? How could you achieve that? And if the environment is able to support it, it's not overly populated. Now, I'll grant you, you can have too many rats in a cage, and they will go mad. I haven't noticed fish suffering the same delusions. um, the best example of this would be a Central American cichlid, a pair in a tank spawning and leaving the parents in with the spawn. There will be thousands of eggs, thousands. Thousands will hatch, thousands will swarm. But what you will notice is that fewer and fewer will reach a larger, will grow. Some will remain tiny. Others will grow much bigger. Now, that's an interesting phenomenon in itself because that's a genetic function of survivability, such that if the larger fish suddenly finds itself in an environment where the food source is dwindling substantially, the larger fish will die before the smaller one dies. The smaller one will survive on less food until the food comes back and then it will grow.
Wow.
But typically what happens is those little ones will wind up getting picked off by the bigger ones. They'll become food themselves. And you'll end up with, out of the 1,000, 10 or 20, or maybe a few more, 25, 30 fish growing up in that tank with the parents. They will they will not be able to exceed the the support that is available to them to continue to live in that tank. Now, if so, the question as it was posed is, can a population of fish overpopulate a tank? And the answer is no. It's not possible for that to happen, simply because it's not possible for that population to exceed its nutritional base. It just can't. It can deplete it, and if it depletes it, then you're going to have to step in and do something about it. Can it deplete it to the point where the population depletes? Absolutely. And it will then stabilize at the level of the nutrition that's naturally coming into that system. Food comes in all the time. It comes in microscopically, and it comes in as bugs, falling into the tank, leaves falling into the tank if it's outdoors. That's how everything in nature gets fed by incidental things falling into the water, leaves falling in the water, bugs falling in the water, birds falling in the water, animals dying in the water. You name it, on and on. Leaves growing up, plants growing up, dropping their leaves, and the leaves rotting in the water. That's how the system supports itself. That's what the fish are feeding on. If not directly, then secondarily on those macrofauna that are feeding on the microfauna and the detritus.
Mhm.
The other issue is, can you put too many fish in a tank to the point where they can't survive? And that's the question that came up earlier. And my off the cuff comment was to add more plants. The more plants you have, the more fish you can have. Um, you reach a point where you just don't want to do anymore. Not if you're at all tuned into what's happening in the tank. And that's kind of a personal thing because you may want to have a big school of fish in the tank, or you may want to have just a few. I've got a couple of tanks here like that. I have one tank that's a 75-gallon tank. I don't plan to have more than a pair or two pair. I think right now I've got two pair of fish in there because I want them to spawn and be able to raise their fry. I've got another tank that's got about 50 fish in it. I'll put at least another 50, maybe another 100 in there. It's a tank with a lot of little fish. Um, you kind of have to feel your way along with it. Maintain the health of the fish. That's what's critical. Don't put anything else in if you're having problems, if things are getting weak, if fish are not doing well, do I add more? If you have a problem, don't exacerbate it. Try to solve it. Get them to the point where they're robust and healthy, and then if you want to add more, you can. The system will take whatever it can support. You can put as much in there as the system will support. And you can build that foundation. You can build that support and be able to increase the numbers in the tank. Bob says you need to experiment. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, you do.
Try it. Try it and see. Work at it. But keep your eye focused on what's happening in the tank.
Mhm.
Just be paying attention. Take joy in that. Celebrate that. Love that. Be endeared to that. Be caught up in that. That's what My Little Fishies, the song. I wish we could play it. I'm so
I do
upset.
too.
We got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have it figured out by Wednesday, hopefully.
Yeah, we gotta. We absolutely gotta.
Because I've almost got it figured out, but it keeps throwing me into a firewall, and I know nothing about firewalls.
Well, I'm gonna have to get on Streamlab.
Yeah.
Just re. I've got it. I need to get back into it, and I can use it basically. I just need to learn, and I know I can do it. I know I can do it. Do I have a favorite species of tetra? Gee whiz. I like the new little ones, the little teeny tiny ones. They're pretty cool. The
Those
ember
are cool.
tetras. Yeah. I like the bigger ones too. Probably my all-time favorite is the what's it called? The silver one with the spoon tail.
I can't think of the
Congo
name.
tetra. The Congo.
Yeah.
The Congo. I love Congo tetras. I think they're majestic. Um, I get cardinals all the time. All the time. I always have them. I'm always losing them, but I always have them. It's so hard to get cardinals that are either well raised or that do well.
That's so true. It's kind of like with neon tetras. It's almost impossible anymore to get healthy once it's not inbred.
Right. Redfin tetras. That's a pretty. There's so many pretty tetras.
Yeah,
I
there
think
is.
I keep kind of holding off on getting things, um, mainly because right now I have fish in all my tanks. I've only got 5 set up. I've got another 5 right here to do. I've got fish in the ones I have. I'll be getting more fish. But right now, I'm just getting basically what's coming through the door because I'm testing out the tanks. I don't want to put a lot of expensive fish in a brand new tank that's not going to
Absolutely.
be able to support them. So this whole thing has got to build kind of gradually. I brought a bunch of fish from home. They're all doing well so far. In a year's time, I'll have some really spectacular fish in here. I don't plan to buy spectacular fish. I might get one. I might get like an elephant nose or a butterfly or an archer or something like that. I'll be sorry I did because it probably won't survive because my tanks really are not ready. Kev's Tropical Fish Room. Hey, Kev. Nice to see you. Got some beautiful black rams with amazing color. Come on up Wednesday night and show us those rams, Kev. Love to see them. And if you got some to sell, I'll be excited to buy some from you. See, there you go. Just like that. A man of my word, right? I ain't gonna do it, right? Till 2 seconds later, when I see something I gotta have. I know. Dire Wolf wants some too. All right. How we doing time wise here? We got about
Um,
15, 20 minutes left. Oh, let's do stem plants. Now, let me explain to those of you who have been with us through thick and thin. There are upwards of 1,000 to 1,200 to 1,500 people who show up during these live streams. At any one point in time, there are 100, right now 150, 147 who are online right now. Of those 147, there are probably 50 to 75 of you who have been here from the beginning and will be here to the end. The other 1,000 plus are in and out. So we do this a couple of times every 15 minutes or so to catch the attention of folks who are just popping by, stopping in to let them know we have these absolutely fantastic deals on plants. The link is in the stream. You'll be able to see it and click on it. The stem plant pack is 16 different species of plant. 16. You always say 15, we give you one for free. It's 16 different species of stem plant, all kinds of plants. You get all of them guaranteed in perfect, beautiful condition for 59 bucks. We charge $10 for shipping. If you buy $150 or more, it's free shipping. $10 isn't going to break anybody. If we gave it away, it would break us. We would have to increase the price of everything. So we cannot afford to give that $10 away. If it's a big enough order, we'll do it anyway. But check this out. Try it once. Also, a lot of people will buy this and also buy the supplement for $25, which is all you really need to get that new tank going. Now, if you don't want to buy the dirt, we sell the dirt. We sell a 25-gallon and a 50-gallon pack of dirt. that has everything in it. You don't need to buy the supplement separate. It's got the supplement in it. What were you flashing there?
This is the supplement,
That's
and
the
this stuff is magic for your tank. I've never been able to grow aquatic plants until I got this. It is definitely worth it. Just had to point that out. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Fatherfish.
thank you.
I
That's
just
great.
had to point that out that this is magic for your tank.
Very good. Mental mining, UK. Had neons. They're a pain to keep too many illnesses. Cardinals did well for me and black tetras. Yeah, too true. Too true. Little goldfinch. Where'd that go?
Don't know.
I tell you, this stuff jumps by so quick.
Yeah, it does. It jumps by really quick.
Have I ever thought of offering a bulb pack? The specialty pack is going to have a bulb. It probably won't be an Abonageton, although it may. We haven't nailed that down yet. It almost certainly will be a Java Temple or a dwarf lily. They're technically not bulbs; they're tubers. Um, but we do have a lot of bulbs, and there's a better and even chance that package is going to include at least one bulb. A bulb pack is problematic because we can never get very many all at once. Right now, I've got about 4 or 5 of the dozens that are ostensibly available. They're just not all available.
Yeah,
Buy
and
some plants, right?
yeah, it's a really good deal on plants. I mean, you cannot find that deal on plants anywhere in any fish stores I've went to.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, keep in mind we've got 2 other packs.
Mhm.
We have a root pack that's 15 different species of rooted plant. That's swords, Vallisneria, Sagittarius, and something else. Sagittarius. I don't remember. Um, anyway, it's 15 different species of rooted plant for $59. You get 15 of them. We also have a 15 pack of specialty plants. That's mosses, ferns, floating plants, Anubias, cryptocorinne. That's the one I was trying to remember. You get a couple of crypt in that rooted pack as well, and they're wonderful plants. So $59 for those 2 packs. That's an introductory offer. That price will be going up, but it'll be about 2 weeks. So get your order in now. It ain't going to be there forever. Duckweed, yes, duckweed. There actually are 5 different floating plants. We will have red root. These are as available, but red root, salvinia, um, duckweed, frogbit, something else. Can't remember.
Azola, I think.
Zola, yes. Thank you. Yeah, you'll get a group of those. It might not be 5, it might be 3, but you will get 15 different species of plant in that specialty pack. The
Mhm.
floating plants will be part of the specialty pack, as will the ferns and the mosses, and maybe the occasional buse will be thrown in as a surprise gift for someone.
That'd be awesome.
If I get supplement, could order plant same time. Yes, absolutely. They can be packed in the same box. The bags of dirt have to be shipped separately. We cannot ship plants with them. The big bag fills the box, and the other one would match the plants. but the dirt and the plants are shipped in such a way that the supplement rather the supplement and the plants are shipped so that the plants are not crushed. It works out fine.
When my father fish order comes in, I'll do a video review to show you guys how it's all packaged. I already have a few video reviews up that can show the packaging, but it's all packaged very well.
Java moss, a wonderful plant.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, we have Christmas moss right now. We don't have Java moss. We have Christmas moss, which I like better.
Yeah, I'm working on growing my Christmas moss out, and I'm loving it.
Lace sword. Don't think we have a lace sword. We do have lace Java, lace fern, the Windelove lacy fern. But we've got some a couple of really pretty like rose swords, some of the short low growing swords as well as the big Amazons. So nice package. Cornwall, Anubias, Anita's Anubias just flowered. Yeah, I've got some here in pots. I do sell mother plants. These are Anubias and swords that are full grown in pots, like a 4-inch pot, big plants flowering. Those are all about 49 bucks a piece. Well worth it.
GNC Aquatics Fatherfish wants to know, is it all snail free?
Well, typically, yes. We cannot guarantee that. Um, because we have snails in some of our plants. But snails are never a problem in a tank. If you have an explosion of snails, count your blessings because without them, your fish would be dead from you foolishly overfeeding.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's
I love
really,
snails.
it's that simple. If you think snails are icky, you got your head twisted on backwards. Because without those snails, you'd have a tank full of dead fish. The only reason they're there is because there is way too much nutrition in that tank, and they're gobbling it up and multiplying to be able to keep control of it. If you don't want a snail explosion, don't create a food explosion. Adam says, give me your snails. Really. But if I kept musk turtles, yes, I have. I really like them. Don't have any right now. I did have some last year, and I'll try to get more. The little ones will be hatching out soon, so we'll
Oh,
be
that's
able to get little tiny ones. I want to do more with turtles. I love turtles.
me too.
Huh. G Bear's been fertilizing his lawn with snails. I don't feed my fish, my food web does, says sexy guy. Bravo, bravo. Got a small razorback musk turtle to clean out snail infestation. That works. That works.
Yeah, that would do it.
They're very cool turtles. And they don't dig. They will go down into the bottom, but only enough to cover their shell, and an inch at the most. They don't go down. They're not down in there rooting around. They're just trying to cover their shell so they can hide.
Mhm.
Yeah, the musk turtles don't need the bask, although they will give in the opportunity. They will come out of the water if you got a landing place where they can crawl out. They will do it.
Jamie has a question for you, Father Fish.
Sure.
I asked if banana plants could survive in brighter light, well, outdoors specifically.
Oh, you bet. banana plants, the biggest population of banana plants I ever saw was a shallow mud pond in the middle of a front yard with no trees around it. Straight out sun in Florida all day long. There were thousands of them in there. It was absolutely amazing. Never saw anything like it. After what type plants and African cichlid? Well, I would do Anubias. No, well. You could do Anubias. I would do um, Vallisneria, Jungle Val, Red Val, the bigger, thicker Val. Some large sword plants like Amazon sword, ocelot. Those bigger kinds of swords. Those are the kinds of plants that'll do best with bigger fish, and try to get algae growing. That's the natural food for African cichlids, and the best way to do that is to have a lot of light. The fish love it, and it grows algae, and that's a primary food source for Malawi cichlids.
Yeah, and it's also a really good food source for shrimp.
Yep,
A lot of my
absolutely.
shrimp tank, I make sure that there's algae in there because they love it.
Miss my jungle val. I got a lot of jungle val. Deal on jungle val. I don't remember what I charged. It ain't much, and we have a lot of it right now. How we get the green stringy algae under control? You pull it out by hand,
Mhm.
manually remove it. The reason that works is because the string algae, hair algae, does not branch off. It just grows one long strand that keeps growing. So when you pull on it, you're getting the whole plant. You're getting all of it out. Now, you're not going to get it all at once, but keep at it. And in fairly short order, you'll have it all out of there. You got to keep up with it, though. Don't let it get don't let it get ahead of you. Every 3 days or so, go in there and pull it out and keep doing it. Get every bit you can. You don't have to disturb anything either. You just get a hand on a handful of it and pull it out gently and slowly so it all comes out. And just and keep doing that and you'll get it all. It's the best way to control it.
Mhm.
And here's another hint. To get rid of duckweed, get a small wet vac and use the wet vac above the level of the water. Suck the leaves up into the vac off the surface of the water. You got to be a little careful because it tends to want to grab the water, and that'll mean you have to empty it too often. But try to keep it an inch or so above, just enough to be able to get those leaves out. And if you'll do that carefully, you can get every single leaf, and that's what you have to do. You have to get every single leaf out of there to get rid of it. But
That's
that
an
works.
ingenious way to get rid of it. I never thought
Just
about using
like
a wet vac.
duckweed. Right. Oh my word. Oh no. I thought Miguel was breeding hill streams. I don't know a thing about it. Never bred them. Would love to. I've got a couple. I'm going to get some more. I'm going to try to get a tank of them going. All of those loaches, I think, are just amazing. Most loaches will not breed in captivity because they're brackish water fish. But there are some that will, like the coolie loach. If you can get them, and right now they're rare as hen's teeth. But if you can get coolie loach, make a pile of rocks in the corner of your tank and get a half a dozen at least coolie loaches and turn them loose. In a matter of months, you'll have baby coolie loaches in there. Maybe, Jamie. I haven't done it yet. I really, really want to. Okay, I think we're at the witching hour here. We're at 8 o'clock. We have run the gamut. Researching research. I have to change my phone. We'll have to rewatch. So sad. See you all next time. Well, we're ending it anyway, research. So give it one more minute and we'll be gone. It's all about the fish. Love you all.
Love you
Wonderful to be
guys.
with you. Been great fun. Join us. What's coming up? Wednesday night show and tell. We've
Yeah,
got
come on
two
up to
new, we got two new shorts coming out. I should mention I have a sermon I preached this morning. It will be available on Patreon exclusively. So, any of you who are interested in following my ministry, I'm going to be converting that Patreon channel to a ministry channel. That's going to happen rather quickly. So you might want to plug in there. We've got about 100 people in there now. It's a great chance to be able to get in on something that is not only unusual, but that will set you apart. If you're about being set apart, it will set you apart. God bless you all. Love you all. Bye for
love you guys.
now.